Hello everybody and welcome to day 3 of our chicken coop build. Welcome to our channel. We're going to show you how we turned our house into our small family farm. We're going to show you how we did lots of little small projects around the house and how you can do them too. So as you can see, we've gotten some rain recently. So we had covered all of our base up with the plastic wrap and everything. Now what we're going to do is we drew up some plans for the walls. As you can see here, we got one plan for each side as well as a cut list for all of our 2x4s. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to follow that cut list and go and cut all of our 2x4s and label them. And then we're going to bring all of our boards out here and we're going to assemble them with our nail gun and put the walls up. Alright, so as you can see on our cut list here, we've basically labeled everything for each side of the wall, basically the cardinal direction it is. So we got W for west, N for north, E for east, and S for south. And then we labeled each board for the length that we're going to cut it at. So that way we can make the cuts and then label it with that specific board, so that way after we're done cutting we can just assemble it right on top of the base out there and then put it together fairly quickly. I feel that is the most organized way to do this, so that way we're not trying to calculate and cut and do everything all at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the west side. We're going to start with that one because it's the most complicated and it's got the most cuts. So if we can get that one all cut up ready to go first, move all the boards out, and then we'll get the rest of the sides done. So as you can see from the diagram of the west side, we've got the door and the window opening. So we're going to start by cutting the outsides, in that case the W5, W1, W7, and the W8 boards, and getting those laid out. Once we get them cut, we're going to go ahead and lay them out on the driveway here, just make sure there's a good fit before we move them out to the backyard. So it's important to note here, so after we start marking them out and before we start cutting them, what we're going to do is put something under the end of the board here. It's going to make sure it's nice and level. As we go ahead and cut it, that makes sure we get the straightest, most 90-degree cuts on here, which will make the most straight and non-warped walls we can get. Now that we have the pieces cut, we'll go ahead and lay them down like they would be in the wall and just make sure everything fits right. Alright, so we got all the boards cut for our walls. Now our first wall that's going to go on the south side, which is actually that way, so that wall is down here on the board. Now what we're going to do to put it together, we have a long pipe clamp that we're going to use to sandwich in the ends together first, as well as a square to make sure it's nice and square at the corners. And then we're going to use 2 framing nails for each end of the board and basically get a square made, and then we'll fill in the centers. Alright, so now that we got our south wall on top here, which is actually going to go on that side, what we're going to do is we've laid out the basic frame, a basic square. We're going to hold them in place and put in 2 of the framing nails into each end, and then we'll go down the line every 16 inches and put in the studs in the center. Alright, well that's looking good. Got the first wall built. I know it's going to be tempting to put it up and try and put it in place, but we want to have at least 2 walls put together before we put them up. So we'll get the second one done and then we'll start putting them up. Oh, right. Well, as you can see, we got our west side wall all built together. That's what's going to have the door and the window on that side. So we got 2 walls all built. So we got that one, then we got the south side one that's over there. So here's the trick. If you have another person to help you out with this, that would be best. If not, it is doable with one person. Put these walls up. Just takes a couple extra 2x4s and a nail gun will be helpful. So what we're going to do is we are going to basically put this wall into position left right wise, and then we're going to lift it up. Once we get it lifted up 90 degrees, we are going to try and level it up and down, make sure it's good, and then we're going to use that separate 2x4 that you can see kicked up against there and nail it just temporarily up into that door frame to hold that wall up at a direct 90 degrees. And while that's being done, we'll go ahead and put that other wall up and hammer it in, and then we'll basically punch them together, and so it should hold up by itself. But it's by itself at that point, but we'll keep the braces up just to be safe. So let's get started. All right, so that wasn't too bad. Just keep in mind they are pretty heavy. So now that that's up, we got our beams in place kind of holding it up. We'll go ahead and basically I'm going to put a few more nails in the bases just to make sure it's nice and secure, and then I'll pull up that other wall and put it in place. So for this one, we're basically going to do the same thing as we did last time. Go ahead and clear off the floor, and then we'll pull that wall up onto it, and then we'll push it up. Well, we got our third wall built. Let's put it up. All right, well, the third wall is up. It's actually coming out pretty good, so I'm going to get that last wall put together and put up, and then we'll be done for the day. All right, well, time for that last wall to get put up, and then we'll be done for the day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed how we put up those walls here. If you guys like that video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and make sure to hit the bell to check out all of our new videos that come out each and every week, especially on this chicken coop build. Like next week, we're going to show you how we put together all those trusses that go on top and then start to put on the roof.